Aria, Starfield, Kxxs, KATO, Hana 2021, and Oxygen. All of these 6 IEMs sound very similar, and I get a lot of questions asking me to compare all of them. Like you guys all commented in my last video on the KATO review, hey Timmy, can you compare KATO to Hana? Can you compare KATO to Oxygen? Well, in this video, I decided just to compare them all because they all sound so similar. I figure it's best just to do a buying guide on all of them. So let's jump into it. Hey friends, Timmy, welcome back to another video on Kxxs Audio. And as you can tell, I am not in my bedroom anymore. I've moved out of that house. I'm actually staying at my aunt's house now for the next 1 to 2 months until my new house is ready. So for the next 2 months, we're gonna see this scene. So apologize for the lack of RGB lighting. I miss it myself as well. So without further ado, let's jump into these IEMs. Now in this video, I'm gonna tell you guys the differences between them, the pros and cons, and at the end, I'm gonna rank them from my most favorite to my least favorite. First IEM, Moondrop Aria. Now before I even get into the Aria, I should probably explain the sound signature that all of these share. Now all of these share a really prominent mid bass. So the boom, the slam, you feel all of that. Sub bass, the rumbles, you don't really feel all of those too much in any of these IEMs. You're gonna feel a lot more of the mid bass. The mid range on all of these IEMs are gonna come across rather neutral, not clean like the variation, but neutral with a little bit of a touch of warmth, just a touch of warmth coming from the bass, but nothing that's coloring the vocalist or the mid-range in any way. All of them have a rather neutral and very pleasing, versatile mid-range. Now, the treble area on these IEMs are where you're gonna find the most amount of differences. So we're gonna cover all of that starting right now. First IEM, Moondrop Aria. Cheapest one out of the bunch, $79. Sounds really good for $79. I mean, I think these sound just as good as the Starfield and the Kxxs for the most part. I would say that these perform 90% of those 2 IEMs, and to an extent the KATO as well. The one thing that these do the best at would be the soundstage. These have the widest feeling soundstage. Now, when I compare all of these IEMs, and when I say something does the best in that category, I don't mean by a huge margin. Like I said again, all these IEMs are very similar. So even though these have the widest stage, they're not extremely wide. They're not gonna be monumentally wider than the rest of these, all right? They're just gonna be slightly bit wider, but noticeably wider, enough to justify me putting it as a pro for these IEMs. So yes, wider soundstage, the bass on here do feel a little bit heavier, but it does sacrifice a little bit of bass control. So these don't have as good of a bass control as the rest of the lineup. But still, $79, fantastic IEM. Good detail and resolution as well. In comparison to other IEMs on this list, the detail on here is really no slouch. I would say is slightly behind the Starfield and the Kxxs, but in general, it's $79. It is the best value out of all of these. Next is the Starfield. Now these are the most tamed, and a lot of people would like to call these dark. I wouldn't go as far as calling it dark, but the treble area on these are very relaxed and tame, and the soundstage on these are gonna be the most narrow. Now, not extremely narrow or anything, just narrow in comparison to the other ones on this list. But the one thing it does the best at is imaging. These have almost pinpoint imaging for the soundstage that it has. Every time I put on the Starfield and listen to it, I'm still surprised at how good the imaging on these are. They're just great. They're the best imaging out of all of these, in my personal opinion. So that's really the selling point of these. Now, if you want an IEM that's a little bit more tame, like extra tame in the treble area, maybe you're extremely treble sensitive, then the Starfield might be the best choice for you. But if you like something sparkly with a bit more energy, then the Starfield is a no-go. All the other choices are better than the Starfield when it comes to the treble area or the sparkliness of the treble area anyway. In terms of details and resolution, these are great. Like they're great. They're on par with the rest of the IEMs on this list, maybe except for Oxygen. Oxygen might have this beat by just a little bit, but in general, it is pretty competitive with the rest of the IEMs that we're gonna talk about. And another pro on these, they're only $109, so they're really not that much more expensive than the Aria. If you really want good imaging and you're really treble sensitive, then yeah, the Starfield might be the better option for you than the Aria. All right, moving on. Kxxs. Now, I shouldn't really say too much about these because I believe they're going to be discontinued anytime now because the KATO is out and I believe the KATO is replacing these. But since these are still available for sale, let's cover it very quickly. Now, these sound 95% like the Starfield, like 95%. The other 5% that's different is gonna be in the treble area. These have more energy than the Starfield. The Starfield is the most relaxed one out of the group. These are not, you know, that relaxed. It's still rather relaxed, but it's not Starfield type relaxed. I would say that these have similar treble performance to the Aria. So yeah, there you go. In terms of detail and resolution, pretty much the same as Starfield, maybe slightly better. Bass control, slightly better than Starfield as well. Overall, the Kxxs can be summarized as it is the Starfield, but just a little better. Yeah, that's the Kxxs essentially. It does come at a whopping $189 though. So $80 more than Starfield for 5% extra performance. I don't know. I don't know if I would buy that. But if you want the better than Starfield, and you can afford it, this is it. Next is the KATO, and I believe this one is replacing the Kxxs. Don't quote me on that. You know, the Kxxs is still on sale, but in general, I think these are much better than the Kxxs. Not on sound alone, but also on the accessories and all that good stuff as well. You can watch the full review of these to find out all the little details about them. But in summary is that these come with two different filter sets. So the first filter, the silver filter, is the new tuning. And the new tuning improves upon the treble energy that the previous three Moondrop kind of lacked. These have the most treble energy, which brings female vocalists, male vocalists to life a little bit more. Everything just sounds a little bit more sparkly. In terms of details and resolution, these do pick up slightly bit more micro details than the other three Moondrops as well. So overall an improvement, although a slight improvement, but still overall an improvement nonetheless. And the best part about these is that they only cost $189, which is the same as the Kxxs. That's why I believe they are probably discontinuing the Kxxs and replacing it with these, but I really don't mind because these are genuinely better than the Kxxs. Again, although slightly. Now, the second nozzle that it comes with, the brass nozzle, and this is the really cool part, it sounds almost identical to the Kxxs. So get this, you buy this and you get the KATO tuning and you also get the Kxxs tuning. Yeah, so almost two IEMs in one. It's great, it's fantastic. You get to experience the new and the old. So that's why I feel the Kxxs is just obsolete at this point. Just get the KATO. If you're thinking about the Kxxs, just get the KATO. Now for the moment we all been waiting for. Here comes the Tanzjim. First one is Hana 2021. I don't know why I'm talking like that. But yes, Hana 2021. Actually no, we're gonna talk about the Oxygen first. I'm gonna skip the Hana because the Hana is very easy to describe, all right? Oxygen. So Oxygen here came before the Hana 2021. And these, I would say, are the best sounding out of all of them. I just like the extra bit of energy that these have. These have the most energy out of all the IEMs that I'm talking about in this video. Vocalist just sounds more forward and more lively on the Oxygen, and that goes with all the other instruments in the mid-range as well. Everything just popped noticeably more on these than any of the other choices. Now, of course, these do come in at a premium, $279, so they're quite a bit more expensive than all the other ones on this list. Are they worth the price? I would say for me, it is really good. I would buy these. I would absolutely buy these at $279. I just really like them. Detail and resolution on these are also slightly better than everything in this list as well. I would say bass control is also one of the best bass control. I would say it rivals the Kxxs and the KATO's bass control very easily. But yes, in terms of sound, I love these the most. That extra bit of energy really brings a lot of songs to life. And for me, there's just no going back after listening to these. After I owned the Oxygen, all these other ones just feel a little bit too tame for me. But that's just my personal taste. Maybe you don't like a lot of energy. Maybe you like more tame than, you know, maybe you like the other ones on this list more. But for me, I find these a little bit more balanced than the rest of them with that bit of extra energy. I just love it. I love the Oxygen just for the sound alone. And it also helps that these also have, again, very good detail and resolution for the price. Now, going back to the Hana 2021, it's basically the Oxygen, but cheaper. And maybe a little bit less detailed. Maybe not as good bass control, but in general, it sounds 95% the same and comes in at around $100 less. I would say that the better valued one is the Hana 2021 for sure. But if you want the extra refinement, you would go for the Oxygen for $100 more if you can afford it. That is the better one. But if you want to save money, go for value, you want that energy, the Hana 2021 might be the choice for you. Now, for the quick comparison between the KATO Hana 2021 and the Oxygen, since a lot of people ask, I would say that the KATO has slightly bit more tame treble area than these two. I would say these two have more energy than the KATO, although not by too much. In terms of detail and resolution, I would say the KATO beats the Hana 2021 and plays pretty much on par with the Oxygen. I would say the Oxygen is still slightly bit better detail-wise than the KATO, but really not by much again. But for sure, it has more resolution than the Hana 2021. And that's pretty much the difference. Yeah, and I mean, a little bit anticlimactic, but that's pretty much the difference. Now, a lot of you guys might be wondering, hey Timmy, is it worth the extra $100 to go from KATO to Oxygen? I would say, it depends on what you want, right? If you want the most energetic treble out of all these six, then yes, the Oxygen is good. Now, between the KATO and the Hana 2021, again, it comes down to the treble. Do you want more energy? Then you go with the Hana 2021. If you want a little bit less, then you go with KATO. But I will say though, one thing, if I had to choose between the Hana 2021 and the KATO, for me, I would pick the KATO just because I feel like the KATO just has better bass control, just feels tighter and more resolved overall. And for me, I value that, I like a really nice resolving IEM. I would say that the Hana 2021 just falls slightly bit behind. And for the same price, I'd rather have the KATO than the Hana 2021. But, versus the Oxygen, of course, I'm gonna pick the Oxygen. Now, it's time to rank these from my most favorite to my least favorite. Number 1 spot, Oxygen. Of course, love Oxygen a lot. Number 2, following the Oxygen would be the KATO. Love the KATO a lot. Number 3, I would go for the Hana 2021. And number 4, I would say I really like the Starfield, man. I would go for the Starfield. It has the best imaging. It has a party trick that I really impressed with. The Kxxs is good. It's better than the Starfield in a lot of ways, just again, very slightly. I need to keep repeating that. But imaging wise, the Starfield just feels better than the Kxxs. So the next one, of course, is gonna be the Kxxs. And my least favorite is gonna be the Aria. Now, I say least favorite doesn't mean I don't like it. All these 6 are fantastic IEMs for the price. You really cannot go wrong with any single one of them because they all sound great. But since I have to rank them, there's gotta be a most favorite and a least favorite, all right? Now, of course, $79, doesn't have the same performance as the rest of them, but it's $79. And again, like I said earlier in the video, the Aria performs around 90% of the Kxxs, of the Starfield, of the KATO, of the Hana 2021. So it's still a really good IEM, all right? Don't think that I hate those just because it's at the number 6. I don't hate them. I really like them. I recommend them in a lot of my videos. Just have to make that very clear. All right, guys, that is it for this video today. So in conclusion, quick thoughts and quick summary, which one should you buy? I would say if you value really nice vocal energy, vocal forwardness, then you would pick between the Oxygen or the Hana 2021. But if you valued more value, I guess value for your money, value versus performance, I would go for any one of the Moondrop offering, the KATO, the Starfield, or the Aria. The only one I would not suggest you purchase anymore would be the Kxxs because the KATO has both tuning, the KATO and the Kxxs tuning in one IEM. So I would just go with the KATO. So yes, I don't recommend the Kxxs anymore. We're just gonna eliminate that. But yeah, if you value money for performance, go with any of the Moondrop offering, you won't be disappointed. If you value more vocal energy, more energy in your music in general, then I would go with the Gyms offering, the Oxygen or the Hana 2021. All right guys, that is it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this guide was helpful. If you like this video, please leave a like. Join us on the Facebook group as well. You see all of these videos early. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Bye.